Hello, friends. Once a professor said, humans are creatures that will surprise each other for the rest of humanity. And isn't that true? We spend lots of money and time to research about the secrets of the universe, while researching about us, humans, only takes up nearly 10% of the studies. But people can be very impressive, especially the ones we don't expect to impress us. And this is what today's story is all about. I believe it'll be a good example for many people. A young woman named Jessica went to a small city in the south of the United States because of work. She was there working on a big project for almost a week. When she was done with her tasks, she prepared to go home. Suddenly, the management of the company told her that she would have to stay a bit longer as her colleagues in the neighboring city needed help with something. Jessica didn't want to waste much more time as it was also a Friday and she wanted to go see her family over the weekend. She hurried to the train station and bought a ticket for the next commuter train. The train was about to depart, so Jessica quickly jumped and last minute onto the train. When she was inside, she realized that the train was half empty, not more than 20 people. She could have chosen any seat she wanted, so she sat down next to a window. The drive would be about an hour long, so she checked her phone for a while, but then put it down to just relax a bit. As the woman wrote later on, "Unwillingly, I heard a conversation between two elderly women. They were fighting over politics. And in the furthest corner, there was a person who I noticed immediately. By the way he looked, one could think he is either homeless or very poor." Jessica didn't pay attention to the people surrounding her and stared out of the window. She was only thinking about finishing this job as fast as possible and going home. "20 minutes passed. As the train got closer to the next train stop, she noticed a ticket inspector who started checking the passengers' tickets from the beginning of the wagon. After checking Jessica's ticket, he went on to the two women, and then there was only the guy left. Jessica continued mindlessly looking outside the window as she heard the voice of a man. When she looked up, she saw the homeless man, wearing an old jacket and dirty jeans. He was standing in the middle of the wagon and quietly talking to the inspector so other people won't hear him. He was trying to explain to the inspector that he didn't have a ticket and only a little money left for food. The woman thought for a second, now this story begins again, but decided to listen what the inspector would say just to be distracted by something. After scanning the man from head to feet, the inspector said, "You know that this is not allowed. Everybody has to have a ticket. I have to report you." The man started fidgeting with his old cap, looked down and said quietly, "Yes, of course, I know. But I really don't have any money, and I really need to go somewhere. I'm going to see my sister, who I haven't seen in many years." The inspector didn't have time to answer, as one of the elder ladies raised her hand and said, "How much does he have to pay? I'll pay for him." By this time, Jessica had some empathy with the man as well. Everybody can be stuck in different situations. He did seem to be harmless. Maybe life just wasn't easy for him. Nobody knows what will happen to us in 10 years. After the lady's words, the inspector looked at the other passengers and saw that they all supported the guy and said, "Okay, I'll make an exception for you." The man said thank you about 5 times, turned around to the passengers and nodded to them in a thankful manner. It seemed like this problem was solved and everyone could relax again. But this is only where the actual story began. As the inspector was about to leave the wagon, a man that was sitting at a window unexpectedly stood up and shouted angrily, "Go away right now! How are you better than me? Maybe I don't even know how to feed my family today. Maybe I'm hopelessly looking for work for the second week in a row. But I would never think like you. You're a shame." And then he said to the inspector, "How can you do such a thing? I want to have free rides as well then." The situation in the wagon escalated. Everyone started to look at each other. Someone told the angry man to leave the homeless man alone. Another one supported him and said all people are equal. But no one expected the following to happen. No one would have even thought about what this homeless man would do next. He didn't complain. He didn't ask, didn't try to prove anything. He just silently came up to the other man and asked him to reach out his hand. The man hesitated, but in the end, did what he was asked to do. The man took out of his pocket some dollars, all the money he had, and gave it to the man. The man didn't want to accept it, but the homeless man said, "You and your family need this money more than I do, and I will manage. Don't worry about me." After this, he turned around and quickly left the wagon. Later on, Jessica wrote, "This was an unbelievable situation. Every passenger was shocked. After a while, it seemed like everyone forgot the incident and the angry man remained seated at the window." When Jessica got off the train, she saw tears running down his face. Jessica wrote about this situation on social media as she was so touched by this story. One person in the comments wrote that the poor man in the wagon turned out to be the richest one. He could have just turned away, but he knew too well what suffering was like. Dear friends, how many of us would have done the same thing and given away our last money? Leave your opinion in the comments and like the video. We'll see you soon.